Froggy was working well for the bass during my last trip, but the absolute best fly for the trout was a small 16-18 mayfly, dark colored mayfly. It could be blue wing olive or Baetis. Baetis, I think blue wing olive is considered Baetis, but that's the type of fly that was working well. So we're gonna tie up a few of them and then see where we go from there. Start with some small hooks. Need some small hooks. Here's a nice small hook. This one was quite small. The pattern that worked the best had a moose main body, but it proved to be pretty fragile. But that's okay, you could still get like 3 or 4 fish, but then it would fall apart, which I think is okay. But some of you might not approve of that. Oops. And dropped our hook. Gotta get another one. I'm looking in my hook pile. I might just need to get a new hook. I'll just search for a new hook. Let's get rid of this hair. Let's get rid of it. We're gonna need this later. We'll put that right there. Some marabou, put that over there. Don't need any of this flash. Put that over here. Some schlappen we do not need. We need that, we need that. We need this. Okay. Small hooks. Here we go. Here's some small hooks. I'll try to do 3 or 4 of these. The vice jaws might also be a problem. I don't think you should do the really big flies and the small flies in the same vise, but what do I know? We'll do CDL for the tail, three fibers. You could do 2. 3 is good. Tie those in a little long. Just cord up our thread a bit. I cock them to the side and then let them roll over as we're winding. That looks good. Then we'll trim them off. I wrap the tail fibers the length of the body. This is just me. I like to have a even taper. So I'll wrap all the material kind of close to the eye. You can do it if you have the appropriate thread. gauge of thread. We'll get our moose. We'll tie a couple with the moose, and then we'll tie a couple with the dubbing. The dubbing is faster, obviously. And I don't think it matters one way or the other in terms of the fishing. Where be the moose? Where be the moose? Is a good question. There's a patch. This is a patch of moose body. Moose mane also works. I'm just going to get 2 hairs off the moose body. And then the tips are darker than it goes from light to dark. You want that kind of mid-section. So I'm going to actually cut off the tips, which is a shame because that's the coolest part of the hair. I'm going to tie it in loose, 1 wrap, and then draw them back so I don't have to trim them out. I'm going to cord up my thread a bit. That's about right. And I'm going to tie them in all the way back to the tail segments, all the way back, and then I'm going to advance my thread slow. I'm going to put my wing in pretty high. So I'm going to advance my thread all the way up. And then we can wrap the moose body. A little drop of super glue under there wouldn't be a bad idea, but I've just kind of given up the fact that these will just fall apart. And that's okay. 1, 2, nice and secure. Trim out the hair. How we looking? Looking good. Now, wing is essential, but hackle is not. A lot of people like to put a hackle on their mayflies, but be adventurous. Don't do it. This is the perfect little wing tuft, but I'm going to try to work this one. I'm going to tie it in. So this is flat, this is on its side. I'm going to try to tie it in on its side and do 1 loose wrap and then draw the feather until it's the desired length, which is about the same size as the body or slightly longer. And do right there. Tight, tight. Advance. 1, 2, 3. This is to stand up the wing. A little slight forward angle on the wing I've always found is okay. Trim it off. Now you can decide to put a hackle or no hackle. If you are going to put a hackle, I think it should be very, very sparse. So I'm going to use the butt section of the CDC feather we used, but I'm only going to use one side for the hackle. So I'm going to kind of preen it out, and I'm only going to use the one side for the hackle. Clip it, trim it, and then we can split our thread. I'm using a UTC thread. It's unwaxed flat, so it splits real nice. I'll run my tool, my bodkin up the thread, and then just split it. I want to sit the CDC nice and high in the loop. Otherwise, you'll have wasted thread wraps. And on a smaller mayfly, a regular size mayfly, that's fine, but a smaller one, you don't want those wasted thread wraps. So the material's in, I can already tell it's too heavy, so I'm gonna pull some of the longer ones out. Okay. And then we'll spin it up. And then run your finger up the thread. I like to preen, you don't have to. And I'm gonna try to do the majority of the wraps. I think you'll get 3 wraps, like 2 wraps behind the wing. 1, 2, and then I like to put 1 in front. 1, and kind of a half. No, that's just 1. All right, we'll do 1 wrap just to ensure it doesn't move, and then we'll let the thread unravel. The legs are a touch long, but not too bad. Kind of a messy look, which I like. I'm going to trim down this one, and then I'm going to trim down this one. That's it. Oh, wait, I'll trim down this one too. Okay. That's a good pattern right there. You can see the profile. Nice tall wing. The smaller mayflies have shockingly large wings. Floating down the river like little sailboats. We'll whip finish this. We'll do 2 3-turn whips. That's what I usually do. No head cement. And then we'll cinch it down. We'll do 1 more. And then that's about it. That's all you need. And then I'll use this for my Betis pattern. I don't go, you can tie them smaller, I don't, but you could. Yeah, the tail, I don't know if you can see the tail, but the tail is nice and long, surprisingly durable. The weak point is gonna be that moose body hair that you tie for the abdomen. That's gonna be your weak point. So let's do a couple more of these. These are the flies I also give away the most. These ones in the caddis. It seems like on the river, people like these ones. So I always tie a few extra. They ask you, what's working, or what are you fishing? And then if it's a small mayfly, this is the one I'm usually fishing. You can get more creative for the bigger patterns, like a 16-14. You could change up the body material, like a darker turkey or even pheasant tail for the body. But hair seems to be the best for the smaller patterns. We'll get our CDL, 3 fibers. And drop those in nice and long, about as long as the hook shank. We want to, the thread is lying flat. I don't want it completely flat for this, so I'm spinning it up. And my thread control is not very good right now for some reason. There we go. And then I'm gonna let it rolls over as I tighten down. I didn't get a very good flare, but sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It'll work. Chop it off there because we're close to the eye. We'll get our moose body, 2 hairs. You could do 1. I'm playing it safe with 2. Bucktail might even work. Get a few bucktail hairs in there. That might work. I'll I'll do this one slightly darker, hopefully getting a color transition. So I'm gonna cut less of the tip off. We'll tie more of the tip in, loose wrap, draw it back, and then down the body toward the tail. Advance the thread, wrap the body. After every wrap, you can hold it with your finger to kind of keep it in place. That thread is getting in the way for some reason. But it doesn't take much. The moose body hair, moose mane, has a nice segmentation as well, I like. So it looks good. That's good. I'll throw one wrap over, lock it down. Our tail's still looking a little weak. Starting to come to life though. Trim that out and get a wing. We pulled this little tuft from the pack. This will be a good little wing. So we'll tie that in, draw it back, and nice and long. That's about right. A couple wraps behind, and then a couple wraps in front, and then we'll trim it out. And then we had our leftover feather from the previous fly. We used one side for the legs. We'll use the other side for these legs. Doesn't need them. You could just leave. You could leave the fly like this and it'd be fine. Skip the legs. I think if you did a smaller one, you'd skip the legs for sure. We will split our thread with our bodkin. There we go. Decent split. We're gonna place nice high up in the loop. Careful, careful. Let it go. There's some trash in that loop. Gotta get that out. That's good. The wing is a little bit light, so I'm not gonna thin out the legs on this one. We're gonna keep them long, or keep them full rather. Spin up the thread, and then do a couple wraps behind. 1, 2, 3, advance, 1 in front. And then we'll let our thread unravel before we whip it. Let's manage the legs. Managing the legs. I'm just seeing what we got, what we're working with. We'll trim down this one, we'll trim down this one, we'll trim down that one, that one, that one, and that one. Everything else looks good. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. We'll let it unravel, and then we'll whip it. One, 2, 3, and tight. Cinch it down. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, and tight. Trim it out. Yeah, the legs are definitely fuller, but I'm liking it. It'll work. It'll do. All right, let's do some little bit bigger with a dubbing body. Do a little bit bigger with a dubbing body. Drop it in. And here we go. Here we go, here we go. Trim your thread tag. Ooh, that was a bad trim. That was a really bad trim. Okay. CDL. I don't change. So like Pale Morning Dawn or Drake or, and you know, March Brown, I don't change the color of my tail segments. I think a lot of people do, but I do not. This one will have an extra long tail. Good, good, good. Wrap it up. Trim it out. The benefit of dubbing is you can kind of blend the color you want. So we're going to do a little bit of olive and then a little bit of gray. We're going to fold that and tease that into each other. You have to be careful though with the amount of material. This is a synthetic dubbing, which I would recommend for all your dries. That should be enough. I need to allow myself enough to travel the thread back so we can start wrapping the body at the tail. Wrapping forward, 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 forward. That would be the perfect amount. I have too much. I had like 3 turns too much, but I dubbed it pretty tight, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this off. I think I just gotta suck it up. You're not supposed to do that. Wrap it over itself. This is turning more into bluing olive, so I'm gonna do a different color wing. I like my bluing olives to have a little bit different color wing. See if we can find it here. Yeah, this is the Calabetis CDC. I like this color from BWOs. Get a small feather. So these small ugly feather. Tie it in on its side. Yeah, that's a little bit too close. Back it up. Draw the feather there. Super ugly feather. Couple wraps in front. back a little bit more. Oh man, that's an ugly feather. That might be too ugly. Nope, we're gonna keep it. Trim it out. I'm gonna go one trim down and one trim to the side to kind of angle. That'll work. We'll do some legs. Normally I like to do the legs darker. So we'll get a darker natural feather. That's a good one. Preen it out. Clip it up. Trim it up. And then split the thread, insert the material. Spin up the bobbin. Spin up the CDC. And go behind 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think I have to do 4. And then 1 in front. There's not a lot of room in front. And tight. We'll let our thread unravel. Then we'll manage these legs. Some of them get trapped, so you gotta pull them out. I'm gonna trim these back ones a little bit closer, kind of cleaning up the abdomen. And trim out these side pieces and trim that one close. The others will kind of keep a little bit long. Yeah. That's about how I like it. A little bit fuller than I like it, but that wing is so bad. That wing is hideous. One, 2, 3, and up. Cinch it down. 1, 2, 3, and up. Cinch it down. Perfect. Good. The other small mayfly I like is a thorax done. So we can tie one of those. But I like it a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. And we will start our thread wraps. Trim off our tail action with our CDL. Where's the feather we were working on? Here it is. We got some lighter colored tips up here, so we'll use this. This is a lighter colored mayfly. Could be your pale morning dun. Tying the tail, spin up our thread a bit. Wrap the body. We need a little bit of dubbing for the body. You could do a hackle stem. Yeah, why don't we do a hackle stem? That's fun. I'm gonna pull this dun colored hackle stem. Then I'm gonna strip the sides. You have to be careful because when you strip the hackle stem, it weakens it considerably. So if you have like very old hackles, you're not going to get a very good, you're not going to get a very secure body. The hackle is thin. It does have a taper, but I'm going to try to build it up a little bit more. And then I'll insert tip first, run it back, tie it in about there. Tie it back, tie it back, tie it back, tie it back, tie it back to the tail, advance the thread. Then we'll wrap one, slow, slow. We don't want to split the stem. 2, slow, slow. Don't split the stem. 3, slow, slow. Give it tension. 4. And 5. You don't need super tight wraps. Having a little space gives it a little segmentation, which I like. The hackle stem in terms of buoyancy is not bad, but the Catskill patterns like Quill Gordon were tied in this fashion. We're gonna leave some space because we're gonna add a actual hackle to this. And we'll kind of secure that down. There is a nice taper. Trim it out. You could do synthetic wing, you could do hair wing, but for me, I like the CDC. I am partial. So we'll get a piece of Swedish sea, a feather. This is the pale morning dun colored nature spirit feather. So that's a nice one. Tied in vertically, cover that stem up a bit. Draw the feather back till a little bit longer, same length as the body. To advance, tie in front. And then we will tie behind and chop it down. It's quite a wide feather. I'm not going to worry about it, the shape of the wing though for this. Hackle. Let's measure out this hackle. It can be long. We're not going to wrap it super tight. Maybe 2 turns in front, 2 turns in back. So a little bit long is okay because we're going to trim the bottom. Spin it up, tie it in, advance forward. The first wrap is always the hardest. The fibers like to stick to the body. That's one wrap. I don't want to trap the wing, and I also want to wrap. I don't want to trap any of the hackles. That's two wraps. Going in front. That's three. In front again. And that's four. Stick it up high. Trap it. And wrap it. This is locking it in place. No unnecessary wraps. We'll gather the stem. Trim it nice and close. How are we looking? Looking okay. Then we'll do a few securing wraps. And then we'll whip it. We'll whip it again. Cinch that down. The CDC mayflies sit well in the water, good imprint. The hackled mayflies float well, but I don't want this super high, so I'm going to start trimming down the bottom. Start trimming down the bottom. You can leave some of the side hackles if you want. And that is about it. Yeah, that's it right there. Right there. Good profile. Nice tall wing. Wing could use a little bit better shape, but overall good fly. Lite better shape. It'll work. Alrighty. The stem though, the hackle stem we used to wrap the quill rather, not such a good color. I would have liked it a little bit more brown or a little bit more yellow. Not a great color. For other patterns, you could do biot for the body or deer hair. But let's try to do a biot if we can find the right color biot. Right color, right color. I like a natural or olive. I'm seeing pinks and reds. We don't need that. Sticking to the mayfly theme, or do we go tie something else? What do we do? Tough to say, tough to say. There are pink mayflies though. They do exist. I don't really need anything in terms of my own fishing. I need some caddis, but always need caddis. We're not tying caddis today. Trying to think fun mayfly patterns. Fun mayfly patterns that work. let's do the traditional. Let's do the, I don't want to do it. Let's try a CDC style Adams. Yeah, let's experiment. We will experiment. No, that's not. That's stupid. Darker body, bigger mayfly. I'm gonna do a parachute. I'm really at a loss here. Found some grizzly hackle, but it seems a bit long. Not the appropriate length for what we're trying to do here. This one's a bit, that works actually. I was gonna say that was a bit short, but it's working. It's working. We could do the extended body. We'll do an attractor. An attractor pattern. I'm gonna do the moose body for the tail. Pull out those shorts and unders. Give it a little quick stack. Keep the tail short for some reason. Roll it on in there. That's a little long, but we'll keep it. And then we'll tighten down. Flare that tail out. Travel up the body. Get our taper. Travel back down. Secure the hairs. Trim it out. Trimmed it up weird. I'm gonna get it real close to that bend. I really want to flare it out. Okay, that's nice. And then I like a little orange, so we're gonna do a little orange floss body, and then we'll do, I'm thinking humpy, or we could do like a royal wolf. Here we'll do royal woof. These make good gifts for people, so we can always use more of these. And they're just good flies. Got peacock. I'm gonna do 2. And then the stem, I'm gonna trim up high. The stem is a little bit sparse. So trim up high, get to the furry furs. Tie it in. Travel. And then, we should stop right there. We're gonna wrap our first section of peacock, kind of rolling it on itself to match the strands of herl so they tie together. That's good. Give it a trap. Instead of retying, I'm gonna travel the thread. I might regret this. And then I'm gonna try to wrap the hot spot in the middle of that. I'm gonna double up the floss to get better coverage. I might regret this. This is a lazy man's way of tying flies. Double it up, knock it down, give it a wrap. 1, 2. I want to keep it thin. I don't want a huge hot spot. We'll try to keep it thin. Tie it off. Bring back the peacock. Wrap it. How we looking? Wrap it, wrap it. It's good. Hold it vertical, tie it off. It's got a very short, stubby thing going on here. Trim it out. Let's think about the wing. One errant tail here. I'm gonna knock that out. And I also don't like the way that body's sitting. Here we go. We're gonna do that grizzly hackle, but we have to think about the wing. Synthetic would be the easiest. I think calftail would be the hardest. An in-between would be mallard. A nice mallard wing. Let's just tie in the whole dang feather. It's kind of curved up. I'm gonna knock out a little bit of the tip to notch it out a little bit. So we kind of notched out a little V on the mallard. And then I'm gonna tie in the whole dang thing. It's concave up. So So 1, 2 loose wraps, draw it up. I'm gonna try to get to that V. Get to the V, get to the V, pull it, pull it, pull it. We're pulling. We're still too long. We're perfect. And then advance. And behind. Let's trim out and then we'll split. Not a great trim. Splitting. We want to do half and half ideally. And I'm gonna do just one wrap in between each. So one there. And then come back around. One there. Oh, we've got to get the thread resting on the base. There we go. The thread is rolling. There we go, there we go. And it's not perfect, but good enough. Hackle wise, a darker grizz would be nice. Something like this one. Let's measure it out. Ooh, looks good. Looks good, looks good. This is a little bit twisted up. Chop that off. Do a little tie-in point. Spin up our thread. Tie in the hackle nice and tight. Advance to the eye. You have to, I want the hackle wraps moving forward, so I have to be very careful not to wrap on itself. That's 3 behind. I'm wrapping on itself and I'm losing my tension. I gotta restart. I'm blaming the feather. The feather's weird. That's 1 behind. That's 2. And 3. Whoa, buddy. That is a strange looking fly. Not my finest work. I think we're doing too much on too small of a hook. But as I say that, like turning it over, it has a really nice profile. Weird. Well, whip it and lick our wounds. I don't think we can give this one to anybody. It's too weird looking. Got a little bit crowded on that eye too. Just trying to clean it up a little bit. The profile Can you see the profile? Profile is not terrible, but everything else looks super weird. All right, let us review the day's work. We will review on the tying platform, if we can. A little bit weird. Okay, we started with some moose mane CDC size 18 Betis patterns, which turned out well. This was the hot fly for me in Idaho. Fished very nice in the evening. During the day it was just caddis and whatever, but in the evening there was always a hatch of small dark mayflies, and that was the one we fished, and we caught a bunch. And then we tied a blue wing olive pattern, but we did a dubbing for the body, and then the wing was real suspect on this one, but it'll work. It'll work for what I do. Then we did a thorax done, but instead of dubbing we used a hackle stem. The hackle stem didn't turn out great for the body. We did a CDC wing and then clipped the hackle, which I like that style, but it's just that quill body is a little bit light. Should be browny or yellowy, but it's like white. Not cool. And then we finished with this, not looking terrible. Supposed to be a royal wolf style. It's the wing. The wing is not the wing. We did mallard, and it looks super sparse. If the wing was fuller, the pattern would look better. It's the wing. The mallard for the wing is what's throwing this off. And then the hackle was a little bit strange as well. It didn't wrap 100%. But it'll work. That'll work. That'll work. All right, we are finished. Be well. Tie many flies and catch many fish. And we'll see you next time.